Hello and welcome back, and welcome to any new subscribers that I have, and to those of you who have been with me for a while. I want to let you know I do appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get started on this. So I made a dog bed for Grandma's little dog, Boscoe, and I thought it turned out really cute, so I wanted to share it with you. He just sits in there nice like that. So let's put him and his bed aside and let's get busy with this project. So I am using very thin cardboard. I am also using poster board. I chose an oval shape, but you could do whichever shape you like. My oval is approximately 2 1/4 long by 1 3/4 wide. Then I have cut 2 of these out of poster board just to reduce the bulkiness of using the cardboard. The one that I cut, you'll have 2, and one needs to be cut at least 1/8 of an inch longer than the other. And what I did was I just drew out half the design pattern I wanted, and then I folded a piece of paper and I cut the other part so that they would both be even. And the shorter of the two is 5 5/8 long, approximately, by 9/16 inch high. And that is about as good as I can do for measurements. Now I'm using 2 different colors. I'm using a plain red that's the same on both sides, and I'm using this cute little paw print fabric. I'm using what is I think it's a wool batting that you use like in quilts or whatever, and this is a very thin one, and I'm using 2 pieces of that. This will be the pad for my little bed. And I thought I was recording and I wasn't, so the first step was I was gluing the wool onto the poster board oval, and then I was going to glue on the second piece when my camera shut off because I wasn't doing anything. So that's going to be the first step, is we're going to glue those on so they get stuck down before we start doing a whole lot to them. Now this stretched on me, so I'm just going to snip off the little excess that's over the side. There we go. Okay. Now when I did this, I did not have a paper pattern for these. I did originally, but I made a cardboard template because I find that easier to use than paper. So I didn't pin it down, but I did take and draw. I don't know if you can see that on there, but I did draw around my shape. And then I cut the outer edges. I cut it out about 1/4 inch wider than everything I wanted. I've already done the little snips on my curves because I didn't think you needed to watch me do that. And you'll need 1 oval out of whatever print you're going to use, if you're going to use a print, and 1 out of your solid. And the shorter of the 2 of these pieces I did out of the print because that's going to be the inside, and then the outside I did in the solid. You don't have to use a print in a solid, you can use whatever you like. But this is what I chose to use for my project. So let's get going. So the first thing is start laying your glue around the edge of your oval. Now I like to go a little bit at a time when I'm pushing these little snips I've cut into this on. I don't want to do a lot at a time. Keep in mind the fabric that you're using. If you use a thicker fabric, there's going to be more bulk. So you might want to reduce your padding by, 1 piece. When you go to turn, everything is going to be bulkier, and that will affect the outcome of your little pet bed. So just something to keep in mind. By all means, use whatever you like. I'm just going to continue to go around my oval, sticking down my little parts that I snipped. This should give me a nicely rounded edge on what's going to be the underside of the little bit. Also keep in mind that different fabrics behave differently. Some will glue down very easily like this one's doing, and others you may have to hold it for a little bit because it may not want to stick. It also will depend on the type of glue you're using. So yeah, there is my little oval, which will become the base of the bed. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go ahead and get, now I'm taking the shorter of the two pieces of this, and I've got a strip I've cut of the batting, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it so that about maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 is going to be left at the bottom. This is to reduce bulk, because when you get small with things, bulk can be a problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue on this where I want it. I'm going to stick it to my fingers, and then I'm going to place this strip on here and try to get it so, and my cutting was not very even on this because it likes to stretch. I'm going to put it on here so that I have a little strip of the poster board showing at the bottom. That will reduce the bulk when I glue this to the bed itself. And then I'm just going to go around. This sticks really quick. I'm going to go around and I'm just going to cut the shape like that. Throw that away, and I'm going to let that dry while we do something else. Now I would encourage you to let your project dry in between what you do. I, however, for the sake of the video, am going to keep going with mine. So now I'm going to be gluing what's going to be the little pad of the bed. And I want to make sure that whatever I'm using for my stuffing here is facing the wrong side of that material, meaning the side that does not have the print on it. And then I'm just going to do that just like I did the other one. Just pushing those on there into the glue, getting them to stick. And when I do this, I tend to push toward the middle. When these come over, I don't just leave them where they're at. I tend to push them just a little bit toward the other ones. It keeps them separated, it reduces bulk, and I do have a video on here where I do some mini upholstery techniques, and this is one of them, and it's more in-depth and more explained there. So I will link that so that anyone who might want to go watch can go see how and why I do things the way I do them. And if you have ways that work well for you, by all means use them. Your project, you're doing it. Oh. Alright, this material also tends to fray, and when I went to pull that one up, I pulled too much and frayed the material. So I don't have very much holding on with that one. So keep that in mind too, that can happen. And I'm using a rather thick pad on this one. The other one I used a couple pieces of polar fleece, but it stretches so bad. It was really rather difficult. I like polar fleece for small things to use as padding because it doesn't cause a lot of bulk, but also it's very stretchy. This particular material is one that does not like to stick in the glue real well. I know it looks like it's going down well, but it's not. I think you find it's not going down as good as it could. So that is our little cushion for our little dog bed. It is padded. You can see that. All right. Sorry about the glue bottle. On to the next part of this. Now I'm going to take the one that is longer and I'm going to attach this piece, the red piece, solid red, to that. And what I did when I cut this is I cut against the grain, or going with the grain, so that my selvage edge, which is nice and even, because it's a finished edge, is going to be on the bottom of my project. Now you don't have to do this. You can use a regular cut piece of material, however you cut it, and then just, I would put some glue on the bottom to keep it from fraying and stretching before you use it. So on the piece that is not, it's the longer piece, I'm going to put some glue down there, and I'm going to line my selvage edge up to it. I want it right in line with it. I don't want it up too far, and I don't want it down too far. I just want it right in line with my piece of poster board. Just make sure that's stuck down, and make sure that I have it so that I still have my little cutouts at the edge, and I don't have it exactly centered. This is only important because I want enough of my little snips so that I can cover both ends, like I did with the ovals. Okay, so like that, where it's not too long, not too short, it just meets right up with the edge of the poster board. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my little snipped edges in. So I'm just going to put some glue down. And you wouldn't have to do these first, but I like to do mine first. I like to move them around a little bit, try to get some of the bulk out. It's kind of hard when you're working with a very small area, like this curve. And I'm just going to do it to the side also. Sorry about my lighting. It's getting dark so early now here. But I tell you what, it was a beautiful day for December in South Dakota. Our temperatures were in the lower 50s today and supposed to be almost 60 tomorrow. Scares me because Christmas is coming. We have not had significant snow, cold, no storms, nothing like that. And I'm scared that we're going to have that again at Christmas time. This is not totally uncommon, but it's rare to have December be this nice. So we'll see what happens. My family did not get together on Christmas last year because of the weather. So now you're going to have something that looks like that. You're going to have your ends folded in, you're going to have your top edge folded down, and you're going to have your bottom even with the bottom of the poster board. Give me a sec. I need to remove some glue from my fingers. This is a messy project unless you can use something to turn it if you want. I'm just using my fingers because it's what I do. All right. So now we're going to take the other piece, the piece that has our padding glued to it, and that we've left a little bit of cardboard on the bottom, our poster board, and we're going to take our, and this will be the shorter piece, we're going to take our print, in this case print fabric, and the first thing I'm going to do is put a line of glue along the bottom edge of this, where I don't have any stuff, any filling, batting, stuffing, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to take this piece that I cut, and I'm going to find the straight edge, not the one with the curves, and I'm going to, with the wrong side toward that, I'm going to lay it down and try to get it evened up. And I'm going to lay it down just like I did the part with the selvage edge. And I'm push it down onto there, just like so, because this will be the piece that glues on the side that glues to the bed. So I don't have to worry about my material fraying. I've got plenty of glue on there. The glue is going to keep that from happening, and this will be against the bed anyway. This little bit of the filling, the batting I put in there, is just going to make it so the bed appears much softer than if you just use poster board. But you could just use poster board if that's what you want to do. That's fine. Whatever you decide is how it will be. Okay, so that's on there. So I'm going to just repeat my steps. I'm going to, oh, I got over a little too far again. Please be mindful that you don't get your pieces, that you get them more centered. Now I've got a little bit of the batting in here, and I don't know how that's going to go. That has not happened before when I've done this, but it's going to create probably a little more bulk than what I want. But we're going to go with it because there's not much I can do with it now. So once again, I've got my corners, that corner turned. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to turn this corner. So I'm just going to put some glue on there. And my glue is coming out way fast because I have to lay it down. So we're just going to turn these corners. So this is a fabric that does not like to stick to the tacky glue. So it's a bit of a struggle getting it down. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay a line of glue all the way across, and I'm going to fold my top down. Sorry again about the glue. Honestly, when I craft by myself, I just stick the glue right in front of me, and it's become such a habit. I do apologize. Okay, I think I've got the camera problem worked out now. So what I was saying was, I'm going to take and glue the piece with the print on top of the other piece, making sure that my rounded edges are free. I don't want them glued down yet. Just making sure that everything is going to get glued down good. And while I'm doing this, I like to, after the glue is started to set, I like to take my hands and just kind of start manipulating the poster board because it's going to have to curve. And so it's just kind of getting that shape kind of in there so that when I go to curve it, it's not going to be all wonky and out of shape. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and let it dry for a little while. While I'm doing that, I'm going to attach the cushion to the base, and I'm just going to use some tacky glue for that. Just like so, just making sure I get the edges going around. And then I'm going to also make sure I get the middle good. I don't want this falling apart when the little dog gets in there and starts, you know, doing his little pawing thing to make his bed. So there, just like that. It's getting so cute. Now, please let yours dry good. Mine is not dry. It's set up. It's not going to come apart, but it is also not dry. So now what I do is I take the back piece and I start wrapping it around to try to figure out where it needs to be. I don't myself have, I don't take the time to center, you know, to make a center, to draw a line, you know, whatever you're going to do to mark your center. I don't do that, so I just kind of fiddle around with it, move it a little bit, and decide, hey, that looks good. And that does look good right there. Sometimes when you have a print like I do here, I've got a part of a paw print, and then I've got the toes of the paw print, and I'm going to be lining those up as my center back. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and where there's an indent, there is an indent now, because remember we just glued fabric to the poster board, and then we have the the rounded part that is the filling. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start laying a line of hot glue along there. I'm not going to go all the way to the end, but I'm just going to put that line of hot glue there. And I'm going to get this part lined up because you will need to hold this a little bit. I think it needs to come this way just a bit. Let's get the glue string out of there. And when I'm doing that, I'm just also kind of still turning it to make sure it's lined up good. Now once that's started to grab, you can take your glue gun again and you can go a little further, or you can go all the way to the end. I'm going to go all the way to the end on this side, and I'm going to fold that around just like I did the other part, and I'm going to hold this. And it's going to take me a while to hold it because the hot glue has got to start to cool and set up. Now you could take like a sewing pin or something like that and just poke it in through your poster board into your little pad here. That would hold it for you so you didn't have to sit and hold it. But I'm just going to hold it for now. And it's held. Now I didn't glue these together, remember, because I've had it slip on me before from bending it. So it's going to stick a little bit of hot glue in there, not a lot, and I'm just going to fold it over so that those two are stuck together. Okay, just like that, and we got half our dog bed. So cute. They are so adorable. All right, now for the other side, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to just stick my glue gun in there. I'm going to start squeezing out a line of hot glue. A little bit at a time. And I'm going to bend it around a little bit, just like that. And hold it till my glue starts to take. And I'm doing it on wax paper because otherwise, if you don't use something that it can detach from easily, you're going to have a stuck-on mess. Alright, so that's taking. I'm going to separate this side. Put a little bit of hot glue in there. Push that together so it holds. And then I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing again. Just going to lay the hot glue right to the end. Oops, I didn't even get any. Okay. Then I'm going to push that over like I did the other side, and I'm going to hold it until the glue takes. And you know, it would be cute too to make a little piece to go in the front of the bed like some of them have. Mine's just a straight walk-in bed. They don't have to go over the top of anything or anything like that. They can just walk right into bed. So there it is. That's it. That's it for the little dog bed. They're quick, easy, and super fun to make. There's a few fiddly parts, but the end result just is worth it all. So let's put Boscoe in here and see what he thinks. He looks pretty pleased. All right. I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope everyone has a great day. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps my channel out, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Bye-bye.